everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to be doing our predictions for who we think are going to win each NFL game in Week 5. Last week, I went 12-4, and my counterpart here, T-Bone, went 11-5. So I won last week by a game that'll bring my overall score to 44-20 and T-Bone's overall score to 42-22. So I do have a 2-game lead on him through the first 4 weeks of the season. We are going to be competing over the course of the entire season to see who does a better job predicting NFL games. Feel free to play along and post your scores down in the comments. And before we get this video started, I would also like to announce that we are going to be doing a live stream for the San Francisco 49ers against Dallas Cowboys game this Sunday night. The game is at 8:30. We'll probably start the stream 10 to 15 minutes before kickoff, so just wanted to let you all know that. Without further ado, we'll get into the video. And before we look at the matchups for this week, the teams who are on a bye are the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So those 4 teams are not playing NFL football this week. Now let's get into it with our first matchup being Thursday Night Football, the Washington Commanders hosting the Chicago Bears. The Commanders coming off of a tough overtime loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, where they played well against one of the best teams in the league and showed a lot of resilience. Obviously fell short, but like what we saw out of them last week, was the Bears, one of 2 0-4 teams in the league, coming off of a disappointing loss to the Broncos, where they gave up a 28-7 lead and lost 31-28. Justin Fields had a good day, but also not a good day, as the Bears weren't able to get it done. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, really, the Commanders kept pace with the Eagles, and that was kind of surprising. But the Bears are just continuing to just be bad. I've got the Commanders the whole way. I don't think there's a world where the Bears can pull out a win at all. I've got the Commanders.
That's dangerous talk for the NFL, but I do have the Commanders as well. They're just playing better football right now, and the Bears are looking like the worst team in the league. So until they show otherwise, I got the Commanders. Alrighty, up next we've got the Buffalo Bills hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills coming off of a blowout win over the Miami Dolphins. In the last 3 weeks, they've looked like a force to be reckoned with. Absolute monsters. Whereas the Jacksonville Jaguars have not been playing the kind of football that we have expected out of them this year. Coming off of a win against the Falcons this past week, but didn't learn a lot about them there. They looked better than they have, but still haven't looked like we've expected them. So, T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, really, not what was fully expected. But that being said, I do think it's going to be a closer game than some people think. I think both teams definitely can make moves and be a mover and a shaker, but it's going to be closer than people think. But I've definitely got the Bills. The Bills are just the more well-rounded, just greater team, and you've got just a bulldozer of Josh Allen.
I've got the Bills winning the battle of Josh Allen as well, because don't forget the Jaguars do have their own bulldozer named Josh Allen, who dominated last time these two teams met in a fluke Jaguars 9-6 win, but I think the Bills got this one this go around. Alrighty, coming up next we've got the New England Patriots hosting the New Orleans Saints. The Patriots coming off of a big blowout loss against the Dallas Cowboys, where their 2 best players on the defensive side of the ball got hurt and are likely both out for the entire year. Made a trade for J.C. Jackson today. We'll see how that goes for them, but they're a team that really needs a bounce-back victory after a rough start through a really, really difficult patch of schedule. Whereas the Saints are coming off of a tough loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not the way they wanted that game to go at all. Big divisional game between the 2 teams who are favorites to win it. And right now, Tampa Bay just looked like the better team, so Saints gonna need to step it up. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, that Buccaneers game was quite surprising for me. I'm not going to lie to you. They really just got spanked. Patriots are playing solid football, if not a great offense. They've got a solid defense, despite some injuries. I just think the Saints are just not going to be able to handle the Pats. It'll be a close-ish game, but I've got the Pats.
I think the Patriots are going to win this one as well. Alrighty, up next we've got the Indianapolis Colts hosting the Tennessee Titans. The Colts coming off of a tough overtime loss against the Los Angeles Rams, where they made a big comeback and then gave up a game-losing touchdown in overtime after losing the toss. But still a good performance out of them, liked what we saw from them. Whereas the Tennessee Titans, coming off of a blowout win over the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that was a bit of a surprise to everyone, they've been very inconsistent. They're a team who you don't know if you're going to get the good or the bad version of them from week to week. So this has the potential to be a very interesting matchup. It's a divisional matchup, so those are always interesting. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, really, you took the words out of my mouth. Quite inconsistent. The Colts are playing very solid. That being said, Derrick Henry is still alive and well, and they've got some solid coaching on that side, and Tannehill is a serviceable guy. So I've got the Titans beating out the Colts just barely on this one.
I've got the Colts winning this one. This is in Indianapolis, and I've just liked what I've seen out of them so far more than I have from the Titans. They've played better and more consistent football, in my opinion, so I think the Colts are the favorites to win this one. Alrighty, up next we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Another divisional matchup. The Steelers coming off of a loss to the Houston Texans where they just did not look good. Steelers had high expectations going into the season after what looked like a very good offseason, but so far they just do not look like a good football team, and they're in desperate need of a bounce-back win. Whereas the Ravens, despite injuries, have been playing pretty good football. Got a big blowout win against the Cleveland Browns last week, and they're looking to head into Pittsburgh and do the same this week. Divisional matchups are always interesting, but one team has been playing very clearly better than the other. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Even though it is in Acrisure Heinz Field, the Ravens are just playing better. I've got the Ravens. The Steelers are just not offensively a good team, and even though they've got some defense, it's just the Ravens are just going to smack them. Like there's no other way around it.
I've got the Ravens winning this one as well. I just think they're the better football team, and despite this being in Pittsburgh, despite this being a divisional matchup, and we know how those can always get weird, I think the Ravens are just playing better football, and they're going to go in and get it done in Pittsburgh. Alrighty, up next we've got the Detroit Lions hosting the Carolina Panthers. The Lions coming off of a blowout win over the Green Bay Packers last week. And they're going to be heading into this one extra rested since that game was on Thursday night. They're playing some pretty darn good football on both sides of the ball. Very complimentary football. Loving what we're seeing from them so far. Whereas the Panthers, the other 0-4 team, coming off of a brutal loss to the Minnesota Vikings, where their offense was just not able to produce despite their defense doing everything in its power to keep them in the game. Their defense is going to have to step up in this one, and their offense is going to really need to figure it out if they want a shot at this one. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. They need to just do better and step up in a lot of ways, most specifically offense. Defense is really carrying their weight around. So is special teams. Just offense needs to get together. Lions are just playing great football, dude. I've got the Lions all the way.
I got Lions as well. Just, they're the better team. They're better than the Panthers. The Panthers just don't have it figured out right now. Alrighty, up next we've got the Atlanta Falcons hosting the Houston Texans. The Falcons coming off of a loss last week to the Jacksonville Jaguars where they just did not look that good. After winning in weeks 1 and 2, they've dropped their last two, so we'll see if they're able to bounce back here. They are definitely needing to win, and the Texans are a team that they can beat, whereas the Texans been playing better than people expected, coming off of a comfortable win last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. C.J. Stroud playing excellent. Just liking what we're seeing out of the Texans so far. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, even though it is in hot Atlanta, the Texans are just playing good football. I kind of want to tread lightly with how I'm saying that, but C.J. Stroud, I think, is number 4 on passing yard leader. So he's playing great, dude. He's good. So I've got the Texans for this one.
I have the Texans winning this one as well. It is in Atlanta, but I still think Houston's just the better football team right now. Alrighty, up next we've got the Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Giants. The Dolphins coming off of a butt whooping against the Buffalo Bills, their first loss of the season. They're looking to bounce back against the Giants in Miami in the smoldering heat, whereas the Giants coming off of a spanking of their own against the Seattle Seahawks, where their defense just owned that Giants offense. They gave up 11 sacks in that game, and the Giants so far just have not looked good. Daniel Jones has not looked good at all. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Giants have just not looked good in any stretch of the imagination. They are just bad. They are a bad football team. I feel bad that they paid Daniel Jones all that money. They'll get a couple wins here and there. This game is not that game. Dolphins got a chip on their shoulder after that loss from the Bills. Dolphins are a great team. I just don't see the Giants winning. I just don't.
I've got the Dolphins winning this one as well. They're just the better football team. They're the hosts. I expect them to absolutely blow the Giants out of the water. Alrighty, up next we've got the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cardinals coming off of a blowout loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Not a game they were expected to win, but overall they've played better football than people have expected out of them. And just given how poorly the Bengals have played, this game looks like it could be very interesting, whereas the Bengals coming off of a blowout loss to the Tennessee Titans where they just haven't looked themselves. Obviously, big concerns about the Joe Burrow injury. How bad is it? Are they going to rest him? A lot of questions being asked in the Bengals organization right now. We'll see if they're able to bounce back. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they can bounce back. I really do. I think they can. I don't think the Cardinals are as good as the Cincinnati Bengals. So Josh Dobbs is playing good. Even if the Cincinnati Bengals play A.J. McCarron, which I hope they do. I hope they sit Joe Burrow. The Bengals are just a better, more complete team. Their defense is coming in clutch on a couple of plays. So I have the Bengals winning this one.
I have the Bengals winning this one as well. I think they need a bounce-back win, and Arizona provides an opportunity for that. Alrighty, up next we've got the Los Angeles Rams hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Rams coming off of an overtime win against the Indianapolis Colts where they led by a lot early, gave up a comeback, but were able to get the job done in overtime. Puka Nacua looking like an absolute beast out there. Loving what we're seeing from him. Rams overall had a pretty good start to the year, whereas the Eagles look like one of the 2 best teams in the NFL. They're one of 2 teams who are 4-0, and they're just playing pretty darn good football. It ain't pretty, but it's good football, and it's effective football. But these are 2 very good teams, and this matchup is potentially very intriguing. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Thanks, Vegas. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be very intriguing. I think it's going to be closer than some people think because the Rams are playing solid football. Like you said, Puka Nacua, I am loving it. I don't know how much he's going to get now that Kupp is likely to come back, but still, it's nice to see it. Nice to see a young rookie get so many receptions. I've got the Eagles on this one. That being said, I think this will be a close game. I do.
I have the Eagles winning this one as well. I think they're the better football team. I think the Rams just still have a few more things to figure out than the Eagles do. And I like the Eagles in this one. Alrighty, up next we've got the Denver Broncos hosting the New York Jets. The Broncos getting their first win of the season last week against the Chicago Bears in a comeback victory. But boy, has it been ugly for them. They're definitely hoping that it's a spark to get themselves going because they need it. They have not looked like a very good football team at all, and they're certainly contenders for a top 5 draft pick this year. Whereas the Jets, coming off of a tough loss to the Chiefs last week, fell by only 3 in a game where they're definitely going to be slighted by the officials, and those were not good calls. So the Jets, despite not having Aaron Rodgers, still playing decent football. Zach Wilson has been inconsistent, but last week he looked pretty good. And if he's able to keep that going, this Jets team might be able to fight their way back into the playoff picture. So we'll see how this one goes. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Thanks, Vegas. No, I totally think that the Jets are going to play better than the Broncos. I am not big on those Broncos. I haven't been. I don't think that they're going to play well. I think that one win, they better enjoy it because there's not going to be a lot of them. I've got the Jets having a chip on their shoulder since the Chiefs game. I have the Jets winning. The Broncos could make it a closer game. I mean, Marcus Mims Jr., whatever his name is, Marvin Mims, sorry. The rookie is doing pretty well with the Russell Wilson connection. That being said, headbandless Zach Wilson, it's his era. I'm about it. I've got the Jets on this one.
I've got the Jets as well. I think the Jets' defense is going to be able to stop the Broncos' offense, and the Broncos' lack of a defense is going to make life a little bit easier for a Jets offense that has struggled. So I think the Jets are the better football team, and they'll get the win this week. Alrighty, up next we've got the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. The Vikings coming off of their first win of the season last week against the Carolina Panthers, where they won in ugly fashion. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win. They're 1-3, not the start that they thought they'd have, not the start that they wanted. And they're coming in against a really tough team in the Kansas City Chiefs, who were able to defeat the New York Jets by 3 last week on Sunday Night Football. Obviously some questionable calls, but they were able to do their part and get the job done. And they're 3-1 so far. They've had a pretty good start to the year, and they're looking like a pretty good team. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it's just the Vikings are getting their crap together now, even though they were gifted that win because we can't seem to do anything with our offense. Chiefs are sort of, though they did win against the Jets, it wasn't pretty. That being said, it is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. I've got the Chiefs. The Vikings could have put up a fight, but I've got the Chiefs fully.
I think the Chiefs are the favorites to win this one. I think they're just the better football team. Alrighty. Coming up next, Sunday Night Football, we've got the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The 49ers coming off of a comfortable win over the Arizona Cardinals. They are 4-0, and they are looking like a scary, scary good football team. Not much else to say. They've been pretty consistently good across the board, whereas the Dallas Cowboys, coming off of a big blowout win against the Patriots, a much-needed bounce back after their humiliation against the Arizona Cardinals. And if you ignore Week 3, the Cowboys are a scary, scary football team who have been playing very, very well. They'll be going into San Francisco with probably their toughest challenge of the year. This matchup has the potential to be a darn good one. T-Bone, your thoughts?
No, it definitely has potential to be a darn good one, for sure. For definite sure, Vegas. That being said, I've got the 49ers. It could be a close one. It really could. I just think the 49ers are everything that the Cowboys are, but just a little bit better. So I've got the 49ers.
I have the San Francisco 49ers winning this one as well. It is in San Francisco, and San Fran just has a more complete team in my mind. They're better coached. They're just a little better than the Cowboys, and I think they're going to be able to get the job done. And history in the playoffs, these two teams have met the last 2 years in the playoffs. 49ers have eliminated the Cowboys both times, so just going off of history, 49ers winning this one. And I would just like to remind everybody, we will be live streaming this game on Sunday night. Please come out and watch it if you're able to. We'll have ourselves a good old time. And finally, Monday Night Football, we've got the Oakland Raiders hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Raiders coming off of a tough loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. So far, they have not looked like a good football team. Their only win coming against a not good Denver Broncos team, and they were barely able to beat them. Just hasn't looked good for the Raiders at all. Whereas the Green Bay Packers are a team who we don't really know who they are yet. They've played some good football, and they've played some bad football. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back after a tough loss to the Lions, but neither team has played great so far. So this one could be very interesting, especially since the Raiders are the home team. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think it could be certainly an interesting matchup. Close game, maybe. I just think the Packers are just a better team altogether. They're gonna want to get a little revenge, not a revenge game, but have a chip on their shoulder from the Lions game. So I've got the Packers.
I've got the Packers winning this one as well. I think they're the better football team so far. I just got to see more out of the Raiders. Packers have given me more than the Raiders have, even though they haven't given me a ton. I think the Packers will win this one. Alrighty, that is going to wrap it up for all of the matchups. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please let us know who you think is going to win each game. Feel free to play along as we compete over the course of the entire season. Post your scores down in the comments. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.